What's going on, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. Time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Not a ton of books to get through, but we'll see what I read this week. I'm going to go ahead and put my grading scale up. You know how this works. When I introduce a book, I'm going to put the cover of the book on the grading scale so you can see how they all stack up against each other. Starting with Marvel, just read one Marvel book, Miles Morales' Spider-Man. Cool collaboration issue. We're in the middle of gang war. I guess in the middle of gang war. We're in the beginning at least. So we're trying to understand some of the villains that are teaming up with each other to gain power across New York City. And we get a little breakdown in the front of this book as to where the territories lie. And so we get a little bit of that in here. We have the Enforcers in here. We have Prowler back in the action. We have Miles teaming still up with like Misty and all them, trying to take on these different villains, trying to rise to power. And we get some cameos of Spider-Man and stuff, but not a whole lot otherwise. Again, the big thing in here is Prowler. He's back on the scene. Miles is not sure why his uncle's back in the mix of everything, but it's a cool issue. Lots of action. Just a big power struggle in New York right now. We're in the middle of gang war. We still get that amazing compositions we're used to seeing from Vincentini. Ziegler's doing a good job capturing all the voices. Still a good book, but it's tied into another little event here. So we'll see what's going on. I think Cody is on this until February, and then something's going to happen. Don't exactly know, but I'm enjoying Spider-Man right now. Miles Morales Spider-Man. So yeah, definitely worth a check out. Let me know what you guys think. Going over to DC, we have Penguin issue number 5 from Tom King. What a great book. What a great series so far this has been. Penguin is gathering the masses right now. He's building his army. He started with the Help. He's going on with his ex-wife now, trying to like recruit everybody he can to take over Gotham again. So he's going up against all the forces of Gotham. So he needs as many resources as possible. He's recruiting this new guy right now who's got it in, he's kind of the inside man right now with Penguin's children who are kind of running the show here and there. And this is Black Spider. This is a character I know nothing about, and I thought it was like a Spider-Man ripoff. Apparently there's some history there, definitely some stuff with Batman as well, but he's kind of the inside guy, and this whole issue takes place at a restaurant between having a conversation with Penguin and Black Spider, and he's going over how in he is with his kids, the different missions that he's been sent on, and he's kind of the inside guy right now, and he's going to be adding him to Penguin's army. So it's a pretty cool issue. Storytelling is done in an interesting way. It kind of bounces back and forth a little bit. And yeah, I totally dug the issue. It's a little bit slower. It feels a little bit slower than the previous issues, but it still has a lot of implications to it. So Penguin, still a strong book. Great issue. What'd you guys think? All right, next DC book was Detective Comics 1080 from Ron V and a slew of other people on here. This is the aftermath of the public execution of Batman. Now, we know Selina had a plan to ruin their day, right? To kind of save Bruce and Batman. We saw that executed in the previous issue, and we get to see a little bit of behind the scenes of what she had planned just to make that all work. And so this is basically the getaway issue. The forces that be were alerted that Selina had taken Batman's body, but the damage is done. The symbol is dead in their mind, and they can start working on their reality engine to kind of change the narrative, change the mindset of the Gotham civilians. And so we got to see if that's going to stick, and we get to see what their future plans are as well, because they're not just going to stop in Gotham. Gotham is kind of the hub right now. So we pick up with Selina and the crew here. We got Talia in here as well, taking over the reins, taking Batman to where they need to go to clear his mind, clear his body, kind of like purge his soul. In other words, in here, some really cool moments in here with Two-Face. I'm not going to get into the exact details, but like that whole scene was outstanding. It's spectacular, man. Jason Sean Alexander and Mike Perkins on the art and everything. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. One of the best stuff out there this year in comics. Make sure to be checking out Detective Comics because the end of this book was spectacular, and I cannot wait to finish it up. Going over to Image Comics, we have Dracula issue number 3 from Tynan and Martin Simmons. What a great, great book this has been as well. If you always wanted to know a little bit more backstory on the implication of Dracula coming to town, Renfield, some more information on him, how he feels about his situation, how he feels kind of abandoned. He's got a lot of questions for Dracula. And if you wanted to know what the townsfolk are thinking, man, this is an amazing book for you. It's showing a little bit of what Dracula's powers are, but it's not really spoon feeding you. You know, he has this allure to him that he's able to pull his victims in towards him. And he's kind of like haunting this one girl. And we get to see what happens there. But again, this is a book about how he's just terrorizing the town just with his presence and the body count that he's given him so far. The artwork in this book is absolutely spectacular. Man, the colors in here are amazing. Just everything about this book just puts you in the vibe and in the feeling of like a Dracula book, or how it should put you in the feeling of a Dracula book. So outstanding issue, outstanding series so far. Issue number 3. I don't think there's that many more issues, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to make a great collected edition, so be on the lookout for that. Joshua Williamson on Duke, issue number 1. The highly anticipated Duke. The Energon universe is rapidly expanding with Void Rivals, Transformers, Duke. We were introduced to this character in a couple issues. I think it was issue 2 of Transformers, if I'm not mistaken. We get to see how Duke has been such an influential force on just the military in general, kind of like rejecting all the different promotions through the years. He's a guy that likes to be on the ground floor, likes to be in the front line. He's a little bit disgraced right now because he has this story that happens in the issue 2 of Transformers, which I won't spoil for you. And no one's really taking him seriously. They don't really know exactly why he would say these things. You know, like, did you see what you really think you saw? He goes down this conspiracy theory path. He meets some people, gets some information about where he can go to gather more information on these aliens that are visiting right now. We get to see some other classic G.I. Joe villains in here. And we really get this escape montage with Duke trying to get out of the crosshairs of these villains. So it's really cool. Something I'm really looking forward to for sure. We're going to introduce some more G.I. Joe at the end of this and in subsequent issues, of course, trying to hunt Duke down. It's got me pumped up so much, man. So Duke, issue number 1, well worth it. Definitely check it out. Tenement, issue number 7 from Jeff Lemire, Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. This book right here provides a lot more context on the overall Bone Orchard mythos. We get introduced to a character in the beginning of this book who goes missing, and everyone kind of goes on this little adventure to try to find him, and they essentially go down into hell. That character gets a big backstory bump in this issue right here. He was actually investigating a lot of other things that were happening in the Bone Orchard mythos. 10,000 Black Feathers, Passageway, things like that. He was like kind of a private investigator, a PI, and he found himself uncovering all these other things. And so we get a big backstory on the overall mystery in this entire universe. And I think it was needed right now, right? Because we need that connective tissue between everything. The artwork in here is absolutely phenomenal. They talk about the 7 in here, and they go over who the 7 are. Basically these demons, these avatars of evil, right? And so we get to see that play out inside of here. We get a lot of explanation, and it's tying in a little bit to Tenement and the previous issues. So man, I love the connective tissue this issue brings to the overall universe. Drawn well, written well, beautiful book. Check it out. The last book we read this week was The Schlub, issue number 5 from Stegman and Porter, Cannon, Spicer, and Hill. A lot of different people on this book as well. It's a really interesting book. I feel like this book is almost like Local Man in a way. It has the same kind of vibe. It has a lot of action, a lot of different color, but Local Man has a different flavor to it. But it's also about superheroes combining powers, learning the dark history of your people, of your races, of your kingdom's past, your father who's ruling the land right now. Is he like a nice guy? Does he have a shady past? Did he wrong a lot of people? Those people are coming out for vengeance and coming at you, trying to claim what's rightfully theirs. And so it's a pretty interesting book. It's got a little bit of depth to it. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of depth in there, and the art is spectacular in here. So there's that as well. I feel like this book will be coming to a conclusion very soon. It's been a fun ride so far. It's got some oh crap moments for sure, some hilarious panels, some interesting dialogue, things like that. So it's just like a fun superhero comic, little twist in here, a lot of tropes that we've come to know and love in comic books in general. So if you haven't checked out The Schlub yet, it's a pretty cool book, maybe a trade read. But if you've been reading it, let me know what you guys thought. So guys, like I said, it's a really short week this week. The holiday season is always short. FOC was really light as well, but those are the books I read. Those are my thoughts on those. Let me know down below in the comments what you read and what your favorite books of the week were. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out a new video. Thank you very much again for watching. See you in the comments.